Back in.
To have Tank Dell running around out there season, what does that mean for you guys as a team?
Yeah, it's happy for Tank to get back out there. We went through a very tragic situation. Right, we're just happy that he's here, happy that he's back out, being able to do what he loves doing, that's playing football. So it's fun to see him running around. Right, being the same player he's been before, just making plays. Right, being a dynamic player for us. So everyone is excited to see Tank back out.
What do you look for day one of something like this so early, so far away?
Yeah, for us, it's for our guys to really understand the daily installs that we're doing. Right, we want to get our guys a head start before we hit training camp. So this is pretty much a preview of camp. Right, we give our guys a daily install, see what players can grasp, how much they can handle. Right, see can they retain the information from the classroom to the field. And we're just seeing who can go out and execute the things that we've been preaching over the past couple of weeks in phase 1 and phase 2. Can guys go out and execute in an efficient manner? That's what we're looking for, and seeing how much guys can truly handle.
Where do you feel like at the end of last year you all had all the injuries in the secondary and you were having to sign guys off the streets? Having as many guys as you've signed in free agency and drafting Lazarus and Bullock and having other guys back healthy, what's it going to be like, the competition when you get to training camp in the secondary?
And when we talk about competition, right, we want as much competition at every position on our team as possible. So, not just the back end. You talk about, offense, defensive line, receive every position. I feel like the more competition you have, the better your team actually gets. So I always speak about iron sharpening iron. So if our guys can really compete against each other and be their absolute best, that's going to make everybody around them better. So I want as much competition as possible. Right? Nobody is guaranteed a starting spot. We're not talking starters right now. Just want to see guys go out and compete and be their best. And that's why we've made the moves that we've made to add as much competition to our roster as possible.
You talk about seeing Kenyon Green back. I mean, I know it's early, but physically, what have you seen, and what are you hoping to see from him?
Kenyon has done a really great job of putting himself in position, right, to compete. He did a great job of working throughout the offseason. He had the surgery last year, so he was battling back to rehabbing. But when the beginning of the year hit, he was just able to focus on himself, focus on his body, getting in shape, getting stronger. And it's really good to see him back, being able to, play at full health. I think that's what's Kenyon's biggest thing. Once he gets over that hurdle, now we can see how good of a football player Kenyon can actually be when he's not battling and dealing with injuries. So I'm excited for what's ahead for Kenyon because he's really put in the work to give himself a really good chance this year.
How was your reaction to the scheduled national TV games playing in Christmas?
Yeah, with the schedule release, of course, everyone's excited about the schedule and what we have in store. I think for us, the guys have earned the right to really have the nationally televised games. For me, I know it's a big deal for everybody with the national televised games. More people get to see, what we're about. For me, it's all about, our team going out and playing great football. Whatever day we're scheduled to play, whoever we're scheduled to play, we just have to go out and be the best team that day. But, I know our fans are fired up and excited about all of the games that we get on national television. It's good. It's good for the organization. It's a good spot to be in. The most national televised games we've had, as an organization. So it is a credit to everyone around this building, not just the team, but everyone for the work that they put in.
So did you have any concerns about the 3 games in 10 days, as well as the 3 games in 11 days?
I appreciate the question about the 3 games in 10 days. That's so far away that's not even we can't do anything about that right now. We don't schedule the games however they schedule. Other teams have, that's been done before. So it's not like it's something that's never been done before. We'll figure out a way to make it work.
Even though he wasn't there today, how has it been just getting Stefon Diggs just acclimated in all of the day-to-day things you guys like to do?
Yeah, it's been really fun working with Diggs. You talk about a guy who's dialed in, guy who loves football. It's been fun to work with him. It's been fun just to see the chemistry that starts to build in our locker room with him, quarterback, other receivers, offensive players, defensive players. He's going to be a really great fit for what we do here.
Coach, as a former player, are you able to see so quickly, even if it's just, this first day, are you able to see the players and who has put in the work, who has really taken it serious?
At this point in time, you can tell who's in shape, right? That's the biggest thing, who's in shape and who's ready to go. Because as we all know, we know how this Houston humidity hits guys, so you can tell who's ready. And that's the main thing about this time, right? It's not about, physicality, right? We're not truly competing and going against each other, but it's a matter of just guys getting in shape to give themselves an opportunity to compete when training camp comes. But you can tell guys who are in shape and they're ready, like they can really make a jump in their game at this point, in the off-season program because, it's a lot you can't do, but there's a lot of details and fine details that you can hone on in as a player that allows you to be better come training camp.
You've done him in a bit. How nice was it to get Dalton Schultz to return back to the team, and what can he add for you guys in second year here?
All right, getting Dalton was a huge priority for us going into the offseason. He made play after play for us last year at very crucial moments, and just the leader that Dalton is. I don't think he gets enough credit for the leader that he is in the locker room and what he brings to our entire team, right? I love calling on Dalton to break the team down because he always has a very great message for the team, right? Always bringing guys back to focus on, the main thing, right? Continuing to improve, continuing to grow, continue to compete with themselves. So Dalton has been a great leader and also a great playmaker for us. So it was important getting him back, and I'm happy we were able to, seal the deal.
What did you see from Jacob Phillips that made you want to go out and him that through his injuries to the early part? How do you see a parallel to where y'all can get him back on track like you did with Blake Cashman?
Acquiring Jacob was a guy I studied back when he was at LSU. I think Jacob is a long, athletic linebacker. He's definitely battled some injuries, had some tough years with season-ending injuries, and it's giving Jacob the opportunity to compete as well, right? See if he can get over that injury bug and give himself a chance to add value to our team.
You kind of talk about two guys that you added in the secondary with C.J. Henderson and Jeff Okuda. What stood out about them on the film and what they bring to this offense?
What stood out most to me about Jeff and C.J. is you see elite movers, right? You see why these guys were top 5 picks, right? They have the movement skills. They're big, fast, long corners that can run with anybody, right? And they've, had some ups and downs in their careers. This is their third team, right? And short careers. But as I told those guys, man, I don't care what happened in the past. You can wipe the slate clean. It really doesn't matter. Like, how can you come out and help us? And they've both they've been here every day of the all-season program. And they've done a great job of being dialed in the meetings and on the field as well. So I'm super excited to work with both guys.
With a guy like Damien Pierce, who maybe didn't have the season he wanted last year, what was kind of the messaging to him and sort of the things he needed to work on? And I know it's early, but it looks like he's maybe changed his body a little bit. What do you kind of see from Damien and expect from him? And maybe a different role than a year ago when he was headed into OTAs.
Yeah, what I've seen from Damien this offseason, it's a guy who's put in the work. As you mentioned, he's changed his body, right? He's strong. He's been working out every day of the all-season program. Damien, not only here just working out, man, I'm proud of Damien for him going back and finishing his degree at Florida. So, I mean, just a complete man, just working out as a football player, but also finishing that degree means a lot to him. And I see Damien having a very clear headspace as we're out working, and I think that will allow him to have a really productive year this year. And he has everything it takes, right, to be a really good running back for us. And I think having him and Joe as a 1-2 punch would be very beneficial for us all.
Jonathan, DJ, Sarge.
Azeez shared a little bit of his story yesterday. I'm curious, what do you remember about the first time you met him, and what do you think about where he's come in his journey to get here?
Yeah, with Azeez, and the first thing that I remember about Azeez is just one of the smartest players I interviewed when I first interviewed him at the Combine several years back. Very sharp player. He could draw up the entire defense, talk about blitzes in and out. He's a very smart player, right? And still the same way today. Brings a very calming presence to our defense. Just his ability to communicate, right, and run the show as a Mike linebacker. He allows the other guys around him, right, to be calm and to play faster because of what he brings, right, to the table when it comes to communicating. But not only that, communicating, but he can also go make the plays, right, and that's what you have to have at that Mike linebacker position, and that's what he can do. Azeez he's a tremendous, as Dalton, as I mentioned about Dalton, he's a tremendous leader as well. He's a leader of men, and I'm excited to have him on our roster and just seeing him, right, continue to build the relationships with all of the guys in our locker room. I think guys are really gravitate toward Azeez and see that he has a lot to bring.
With Nico, Tank, and Stefon, their skill sets are a little bit different. How valuable is it that you have 3 receivers that are capable of going for 1,000 yards, but their skill sets aren't duplicates? They all kind of do things a little bit differently. How beneficial is it to have multiple, I guess, skills in the receiver room to be able to attack defenses?
And when you talk about receivers with multiple skill sets, that's what you want. You want different body types, different type of movers, right, to cause as many problems for a defense as possible, right? We want to put defenses in binds. And I think with those 3 guys, it allows us to do that because they're so different, right, and they can all do different things. But at the end of the day, they are all explosive finishers with the football, right? And that's what makes those guys great players. They can win on 3rd down, and they can finish and get in the end zone, and that's what we look for at all skill positions on offense. So having 3 receivers there, it definitely opens up the playbook for us, and it puts a lot of stress on the defense.
Coach, rookie Dylan Horton had his season, abruptly ended, when he was diagnosed with what he was diagnosed with. But on last week, he got a chance to ring the bell twice, for finishing up his treatment. What did that mean to you and the organization just to see him battle through what he went through and for him to complete the treatments?
Hey, what a special moment for Dylan. I mean, for me to see him ring the bell, it brings a tear to your eye just to know a young man whose career is ahead of him. He's going along playing football, and, at the drop of a dime, that changes. And that's for all of us, right? Life changes at an instant, at a moment, right? But it's about how you respond. And Dylan has responded, tremendous. His attitude has been off the charts throughout this entire process. And I think a lot of us have a lot to learn from Dylan Horton. I know a lot of us have people that are battling cancer or have been through it or have, going through it themselves. But I think Dylan is such an inspiration to know that whatever you're battling, whatever you're going through, if you attack it with a positive attitude, the right mindset, like you too can overcome it. And that's what Dylan was able to do. I was happy to have him in our team meeting this morning and highlight him, and all the guys, all the guys were clapping for him, and just you see the support that he had, all of the guys that were around him, praying for him, right, pulling for him, encouraging him along the way. That's what life is all about. We get to do football for a living, but when real life hits you, right, something as serious as that, and to see a young man overcome at such a young age, couldn't be more proud of him and what he's accomplished, and seeing him ring that bell was an exciting moment for everyone.
Just a quick follow-up to DJ's skill set question. When you guys were adding Diggs, was that something that you guys thought about as far as like, hey, when you add a guy like that, it also helps as far as he adds a different skill set, or was it just Diggs, the type of talent of the player he is, and I guess in that regard?
I think it's just Diggs. It's no, for sure, man. Diggs is, as I always said, man, everybody sees what he can do in the plays that he's able to make. So, yeah, I'm fired up to add him because he's such a dynamic playmaker. He has many different skill sets, but you put on the tape, this guy's a playmaker. All right. Thank you, guys. All right.